Hi and welcome. We're here again. Kathy and I are here again. It's July 2025. It feels like it's all going so fast. And here we are.
Oh,
And we're here with Heart Tree Institute. And Kathy and I bring you a full moon video every month around the full moon. So check us out every month. And below is a link to our website as well as to our newsletter. If you like what we're doing, we have classes and we have pop-up events all throughout the year, and you can tune into us and find out more about us there. So this July, we have a full moon in Capricorn. We have a July 10th full moon. It's actually going to happen at 4:38 that's Eastern Standard. And so it's kind of in the afternoon. I'm not sure what's going to be visible at that time. Sometimes those moons are in the sky in surprising moments, but that's the moment where we're hitting that apex of that fullness of the moon. And we have this full moon in Capricorn. So we have this really interesting dynamic where we have that Capricorn imagery where we have that half goat, half water kind of creature. So we have this kind of tough part and this soft, gentle part. And that's what this moon really is too. We have a full moon in Capricorn and we have a sun in Cancer. So we have these opposing sort of soft underbelly and like the tough part as well. This is also a buck moon. And Kathy, you might want to talk more about that in a second, but that is this is when the babies who are born, the boy deer babies are starting to really get their antlers. So the buck moon, we really think of that stag energy or that masculine male deer energy. And we're starting to build our defense mechanism and we're starting to move forward into maturity. So the really interesting thing about Capricorn and Capricorn moon, and I have a Capricorn moon, so I am feeling this one a lot actually, is we have that symbol of the goat. So we have this creature that has tremendous capacity to go places that nobody else goes. It has the capacity to climb and it has the capacity to get that great big view, right? So it has skill and it has ability and it has, intelligence, and it's built to climb things, to do things, to, scale things. So this is where we have all of that capacity built into ourselves that's really functional, that's really structural, and we have the capacity to build, we have the capacity to create, we have the capacity to go beyond, we have the capacity to do, we have the capacity to just function really, really, really well in really difficult situations. And we do it well. And we do it sometimes balancing on our little toes. And yet we're doing it. And we can get into these great heights. And people with a lot of Capricorn energy can really see the big picture, right? They're going up high. They can scale things no one else can scale. And they can see the big picture that nobody else can see. So they have a lot of energy around that. But what that can look like in real life is that they can actually take on a lot because they can, not because they want to, not because it makes them happy, but because they can. That Capricorn energy is about where we're in our lives. Maybe we're overstructured. Maybe we were taking on too much duty. Maybe we're taking on the responsibility and duty of others. And it's really about asking ourselves, have we built a life that nurtures us? Or we built a life that is at the sake of our own needs because we have the capacity to do it. And that's a huge difference. And when we get into that, we're really, this is a moon. This moon is an opportunity to look to like, where are we do we have too many horns? Where are we over structured? Where are we over defended? And where are we not paying attention to that places within us that need deep nurturing and need deep softness? And that's that Capricorn tail. That's a watery tail. That's that Cancer element coming through that wants hearth and home and nurturing and softness and to get into the emotional aspects of ourselves. So that Capricorn can have a deep emotional aspect that's covered or guarded by a lot of structure. So that's the question we're asking ourselves here is where are we overstructured Where are we doing too much for self and others simply because we have the capacity to, and having capacity makes us really comfortable, except it's at the sake of our own nurturing, our own play, our own expansion, our own spirituality. This is where we take where the rubber meets the road and we put the brakes on the car and we look at the road we're driving down and ask if this is the road we want to be on, or we need to really kind of reconsider what we're doing and why we're doing it, because this is our world order. This is our world order, our structure, what we're doing and why we're doing it. So that's what I'm going to say about that. And Kathy's going to take over and pull those tarot cards for us.
Well, thank you. You really summarized it so well with this moon. Moons can be transformative. And I love the Cancer, soft, timid, shy underbelly that needs to be exposed and to feel safe enough to do it in this moon. In this moon, we can actually embrace the moon energy and surrender to the moon. And as you have, when I've not been well, I'll sit in the moonlight for healing. And
Yes.
it's surrendering to that timid, soft part of us that maybe hasn't been fully expressed
Yes.
for this time in this moon. So I pulled 3 tarot cards for the buck full moon in July. And the first card is the 3 of Pentacles. And you can kind of see there's this young person, looks like he's an apprentice perhaps, with an apron, with a megaphone in his hand, standing on the bench. And the two are looking at him. And she's got this draped in her arms, and they're very attentive and they're listening. They're focused on what he has to say. And when I see the 3 is usually harmony, celebration, community, but this is a lot of structure. It's like, what did I learn as a child? If I was raised in any form of structure, whether it be religion or school, whatever structure we grew up in, it's so firm and it's held over us. And it is comfortable to stay in a structure that was built by others, because we can kind of soften that inside, but it's abdicating our own responsibility for our own life. So know the structures, even reflect on the structures. Why is this important in my life? Or what has fallen away? Because what we learn as children, young adults, and mature adults, we conform to society. Society is always saying, do this, do that. So this is about seeing that structure clearly for what it is. It is a structure, it can be supportive, but it's not necessarily yours. And then the next one is the 7, which it's wands. Wands is the element of fire. 7 is a spiritual number. So this individual has these 6 staves or wands placed in the ground. They're all uneven, but they're things that are done and complete in front of him. He can see them, but he stands there ready to put the next one in the ground. He's trying to decide what it is, where to put it, what fires, what lights me up, and will I defend it? He's almost in a defensive posture. He's holding that out. So what I choose now for my path, I will hold on to it. It's my path. It's my choice. I'm holding on. I'm holding on, and then I'm going to stake it in the ground. So, and this, I love this because it speak to me so much. But this is the Page of Wands. He's the Page of Fire, and I don't know if you can tell, but these are lizards on his outfit.
Oh,
which is interesting that they grow on the ground, and it met all of the yellow for the solar plexus and the clear blue sky and these blank mountains. They're like just mountains of sand. There's not a lot of color. There's not a lot happening. It's like a clean slate, a clear sky. And the wand is fire. It's what inspires me. It's what lights me up. And because it's a page, it's usually an initiate or a younger person. It could be somebody who's apprenticing again, but he's naive. He's dreaming of the world and the fire. He has no fear because he's young, the young and the immortal. We're braver sometimes to set out. So this
Yep.
is saying, find that innocent place within, find that youth within that wants to play, that wants to have fun, and
Mhm.
have fun wearing a nice lizard tunic smock, you know, with red tights. He's dressed for the occasion, and I even love the feather in his hat. You know, he's
Yeah.
looking at that wand. He's almost dreaming of what it would
Yes.
be. So it's not that I know everything about what it is I want if I live in the structure and conformity of society. It's basking in the full moon and letting that fiery energy from the moon reflect on us. And
Yeah.
I think it's so fascinating how the moon reflects the sun. And so when
Yes.
the moon shines, we're indirectly getting the fire of the sun in the night sky. And I think the universe has devised this for us, these
Yeah.
tools that are always available. And when I was reading more just in general on full moons, an article said on the internet that the moon is only full for because it never stops moving. So
Mm.
you can catch the full moon energy 3 days before and 3 days after.
Yeah.
So where you're catching, where you're finding this video, however
Mm.
it is, you can still call in the energy of the full moon and
Yeah.
bask in it.
Mm.
And I've used the full moon for healing since a child. I loved lying in the full moon, and even being at night. We sailed on Buzzards Bay under the full moon, and it's
Mm.
so exciting to be in the dark and watch the full moon appear over the water because it dances across the water like it's
Yeah.
coming towards me. You know how moon and setting suns dance on the water towards you? So it's
Mhm.
another way of connecting to that moon with water and that reflection. It kind of amplifies it on the
Yes.
water. I felt the full moon energy was amplified on the water for me. So
Yeah,
if you're near
absolutely.
water for the full
Mhm.
moon, it may
Mhm.
even amplify it more for you.
Yeah, you could even put a glass of water in a windowsill and let that moon go through that water at night and then drink it. That's a special thing to do too. Yeah.
Wonderful thing to
Yeah,
do.
we make sun tea, but we need to make moon tea. That's what we need.
Honey, we do make some tea. So
Yeah.
that's our full moon video.
I
We have
I love
classes
it.
coming up. Watch the newsletter for more. But
Yeah, and subscribe and like if you'd like to. Thank you so much for joining us.
enjoy the full moon.
Yeah.